Hey, welcome to the behind the scenes of our homemade Stranger Things scene. Here's how we made it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the behind the scenes of our homemade Stranger Things scene. We're huge fans of Stranger Things here at Homemade Movies, and we were stoked to be able to do Stranger Things this month. A lot of cool scenes we could have picked. In the end, we decided to go with the big showdown between Eleven and the Demogorgon. So we did a fun thing on this episode, and we switched all the gender roles. We have girls playing our little boys, and playing the role of Eleven is yours truly.
But there's a problem. These luscious locks have got to go.
I cut my hair last month to look like Thor. Now I'm cutting it even further to look like Eleven. Next movie we're probably gonna do somebody with his head cut off and do that too.
You did that too. No, you did that in Thor. Remember you got your head cut off as the thing?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I totally did.
Wow.
Okay. I would do anything for Homemade Movies. Anything. Let's make a movie.
Yeah.
To make Eleven's dress, I got some fabric from the fabric store. I made the design using hot glue and cardboard.
Am I pretty?
You're so pretty.
Thank you.
And then we found this awesome blue flannel. Put it on top.
It's 2017. We don't subscribe to the rules that the man used to impose on Homemade Movies.
Playing the role of Lucas is a Homemade Movies veteran and one of my really good friends, Miss Bianca Lemaire.
Hi guys!
Bianca, you know her, you love her, we know her, we love her. Hi. Had to get her in this scene.
You've played a handful of gentlemen in your tenure.
My favorite, Lawrence Fishburne and
yes,
Batman vs.
Superman. Yeah.
I think I look great. This is great. I love it.
She also brought with her two very special guests.
Joining us
Had to come
today,
check out the space.
checking out the new Mashable.
This is awesome, dude.
Playing the role of Dustin is Homemade Movies' own secret weapon, Angela. I'm currently wearing Dustin's costume. I made this shirt freehand with a marker.
You can order this shirt online, but it's not ordered online movies, now is it?
What about my wig?
Oh,
Good point, Mark. Where's
I
the
need to
wig?
get a perm.
Sorry.
You may recognize her curly wig from the Lord of the Rings Homemade Movies.
Oh, you're so cute. I mean, dude, you're so cute.
Two Dustins right here.
Yeah, Dustin Power.
Team. Dustin Power.
Playing the role of Mike is another huge helper around the Homemade Movies office, Francesca.
I think I had a very similar haircut to this.
Francesca also has a very famous wig.
This is my John Connor wig, and it's cut a certain way with the part like on the side, I think, going way back.
All the boys are just dressed in regular clothes. It was fairly easy to get their costumes together. I glued some shirts together, spray painted some backpacks, put some fur on shirts, and I think it came out pretty well.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Beautiful. What's up,
Hi, how
welcome.
are you?
You guys look awesome.
You digging it? Yeah?
Looking good, guys.
All right, man.
So the whole scene takes place in one classroom. I had to make half the classroom miniature and half the classroom life size. I started with the back wall because that's where most of the action takes place. Did it full size, floor to ceiling. I reinforced all the pieces together, basically making a giant theater flat. Drew all the elements out, painted all the elements. But what really makes the whole thing come together is all the little details that I added in after the fact. Jars, you have beakers, you have flasks.
Science things, butterflies, guts, smaller jars.
Ringworms.
Possibly too much detail, as you can never actually read it in the scene itself. The globe is actually a real globe. In order to get the view of the globe that we actually wanted, I had to get the Dremel out and cut it in half.
Who'd have thought that'd be so difficult?
He's got the whole world in my hands. Got the whole wide world in Mark's hands.
We love this scene. There's blinking lights throughout the entire thing, and that was a real pain in the
Buttocks.
to get done. In order to achieve this effect with most of our shots, we had two work lights that we suspended from a pipe on the ceiling, plugged them into two power strips, and had somebody playing with the power on the power strips to get the desired effect. So once the set was set up and everybody was in their costume, that was really all we needed. We just started banging out shots.
This is everybody's directions to be scared. Demogorgon.
Yeah!
No! Get the red rockets! Get the red rockets! No! Kill that bastard!
I want to see emotion.
Look at that scary
I want to
mouth.
see loud
Oh my
breathing.
God!
Scared her!
Ah!
Scared her!
action.
Come on!
There's a scene where 11 uses her telekinetic forces to throw Mike like a rag doll. Francesca was a real champ, and she decided to do her own stunt, Jackie Chan style. We set up some pads and some pillows on the ground, and then we just sent Francesca flying.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah! Ain't no
Work.
dummy gonna take my stunt.
You're fired.
In this scene, Mike flies across the ground. We were thinking about doing it with a skateboard or something else that rolled, but we had this awesome wooden floor. So we put her on a piece of cardboard, and I just pushed her.
That there was the last of the group shots.
Yeah, high five! Yeah!
Get in there, Mark. Get in there. You're part of the group.
So there's a handful of shots where Lucas is pulling back his slingshot. It's a totally different background than any other shot in the scene, so we had to make something specifically for that. It's life-size like the other big wall, but this one has some 3D elements drawn into it. A blackboard. I had a lot of fun making the worksheets that are up on the blackboard.
E equals MC Hammer. I like this school.
And then I wrote out in cursive for the first time in a long time with a white paint marker.
So I'm starting to make the slingshot. I got a really good suggestion from the girl about how to make this out of a garden rake. But we gotta get rid of this middle finger here, so we're gonna use some bowl cutters.
Okay. Maybe not.
John? All right, if you do this first try, I'm gonna be super upset. You got this. I mean, yeah, did he get it? Yeah! Yeah, dude!
You got it warmed up for me.
I'm very excited about this.
If you got a squirrel problem in your neighborhood, this is gonna help that. Ow! Well, that's a wrap on Bianca.
Yay! You're bleeding. You're bleeding.
You just hit me with a rock! We're just playing around.
Safety first, kids.
Yeah, don't try this at home.
There are a few shots where Mike has to cry. Obviously, we have way too much fun on homemade movies for anybody to actually cry on set, so we had to use a mixture of water and hot glue. Next up were the 11 scenes. 11 walks down the middle of the classroom towards the Demogorgon, and the lights behind her are going crazy. We thought of a lot of different ways to make that effect happen, and ended up just making our own lights. I made the lights out of cardboard, like everything on this show. I lined the inside with tin foil. I lined the bottom with printer paper, stuck a light in the side, and the whole thing just lit up. Once we finished the lights, we raised them up on C-stands so that they were flickering behind me. On either side of me, we had Avi and Francesca shining flashlights on my face to create the full effect. So 11 also needed her own life-size background. We ended up just repurposing the set and added a few new elements, changed up a few things, added a raccoon. So the Demogorgon is a huge part of this trailer. He's the big bad. Most of the times that you see the Demogorgon are in the miniature mode, but we also had to create a life-size Demogorgon. So we had this really cool full body suit in the office that I was able to spray with foam.
It's a pretty flower. Till it eats you.
Add a little paint to it, make a crazy face, and all of a sudden we had a life-size Demogorgon.
So in the role of the Demogorgon, we have Francesca!
Hello.
She plays Mike and the Demogorgon to make things just more ironic and confusing.
So the Demogorgon gets pinned up against the chalkboard. In order to create that scene, we cleared a space on the wall in the back of our studio, put the poster boards up on said wall, and then added a few more details. Now the Demogorgon's face has to move. In order to create that effect, I tied fishing wire to all the different flower petals, we'll call them, I guess, and was able to pull them all, making it appear as if they were moving autonomously. So in the big scene, the big finale scene, a lot of people helping us out. We had Francesca in the costume, me pulling on her face petals. We had Avi and Manisha throwing confetti. We had Angela on the lights. We had a big team up here.
Hey, we got it!
Then it was on to miniatures. We needed the rest of the classroom, and we didn't have enough room to build it all life-size, so we built it in miniature form.
And the monster blasts through it, so
That's what's gonna happen with a monster.
The Demogorgon was a blast to make. I bought a few skeletons from a dollar store.
And I'm going to take them apart.
And then I covered that all with tape. Used a hot glue gun to add the effects and all the little skin fissures and whatever else is on it and some big old ribs. Then I painted that. And once you paint it, it all blends in together and it all scares me and haunts my dreams. So in order to make all these miniatures actually happen, we had Francesca and Angela come in and help us out. Everybody was doing something with both hands, and when we came together as a team, it all worked out. So my miniature 11 started out as a knockoff Barbie that I got at the toy store. I buzzed her head using the same buzzer that I used for my own. I cut out some pieces of fabric from the dress that I was wearing and from the flannel in the big costume, and I made a little miniature 11. So the part of the scene where the Demogorgon is being obliterated by 11 was a really difficult challenge to shoot. We had to cut a hole through the back of the set, blast smoke through there, put a flashlight through there, and then we transitioned from that shot into the same exact shot without any characters in it. Fade one into the other, and everything disappears.
We got it!
That was awesome.
Sounds like it's paintball.
People ask me on the street all the time, Mark, what wouldn't you do for homemade movies?
Oh, it was a long shoot.
And the truth is, nobody ever comes up to me on the street. Can you scratch my back? Ow! Oh, God! That's a wrap on Francesca.
What?
Great job, Francesca. You did so good.
Woo! Oh my God!
Hey, Demogorgon, you won the lottery.
What? We're lucky to have you as our Dustin.
Wow. Dude, you look like Pat Benatar. Do you know who Pat Benatar is?
Is that a monster?
Oh, breakdancing. Oh.
How long did it go?
Whoosh, there it is! Whoosh, there it is! Whoosh, there it is!
Homemade movies on Cinefix.
And that's how we made it. Make sure to let us know what you think in the comments section. Check out the links below for our video and the side-by-side comparison. And stay out of the dark.